from one side of this world to the other than you made.
If your people are like me, I like to see both sides of a story so I can come up to my own conclusion. Now, before I get into anything, I would say to Kanye and Kyrie, instead of coming across the way they came across, they could have took that time to make it as an educational moment. But they didn't. But the mainstream media and the media just started basically name calling and acting, just piling things on them. And we couldn't figure out like where they were coming from. Like, okay, is there something to where they're coming from? Let's see where they're coming from. People just started calling them names, and it was like I kind of knew the study they was getting into. Excuse me, and it was like the study is nothing. It's nothing new. There was a lot of people that think that way, and if you guys are not educated on it, I was just gonna play a couple clips, and I would say to people, exercise some patience and don't get triggered because it really doesn't. It's not as serious as you think. But I'm gonna get into these clips, and again, we're just gonna just look at both sides. We don't know who's right, but I'm just gonna say that what they feel is nothing new under the sun. Let's get into it.
Shalom from Israel. This is Ola, the daughter of Jethro, and I just heard that you black people that was stolen from Africa to America, that you don't know who you are. You're the one that was chosen by Yahweh to live in this land, not the Jewish people. It's you. You were stolen from Africa. They deceived you. They told you that you are slaves, but you actually the children of Israel.
Today we're going to talk about with scripture to prove with scripture that the so-called African American black man today in this country, home of the slave and land of the free, we're in fact black skinned, and we're going to go through a couple of books to do that. And this is primarily to get the truth out there. This is mainly for the Christians, the white Christians. If they can understand this, and that this book is actually the heritage of the Israelites, and this book is all about the Israelites, and if you know who they are, you will understand the Bible better, and you will understand that what you've been in fact worshiping are pagan influences under the guise of Christianity.
They're the only people that meet these characteristics, and therefore can be the only people that are the true Hebrews. So let us begin, and I will prove to you that it is the people that is defined as the African American that have been scattered abroad throughout the nations of the world because of the sins and transgression of breaking Master Yahweh's commands and their ancestors doing it. Leprosy is something that most people don't understand. If I got leprosy, you would never really know it. Why? Because it makes you white. Black people, it's very profound because you're black, and then you become white. This is something that you can't hide, okay? Nevertheless, that's why the leprosy in the day and time of the ancient biblical Hebrews, it was so profound, because it does nothing for me. For you, it's life-changing and devastating, nevertheless. As we move forward throughout the scripture in Deuteronomy 28, and I encourage you to read the entire chapter in full context and look at exactly what I'm saying. Slavery is nothing new to the African American people. You will find that if you're an African American, many of your ancestors were exactly that, slaves. It says in the scripture that there will be a yoke of iron put about your neck, and that you would be turned into a slave. Well, that happened in bondage in the land of Egypt. And not only that, but here we'll find shortly thereafter that the scripture says that you're going to be taken from Egypt in slave ships, and that's exactly what happened, and scattered all amongst the world, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Scripture says that you would take a wife and another would lie with it. How many women were raped during slavery and taken from their husbands and sold to someone else as a master and taken abroad? Alright? Thou built a house, but you won't dwell in it. How many built the nation of the United States of America today, but you have no part with it, You would plant vineyards, but you wouldn't eat the fruit thereof, harvest it. there you go. You know, you worked and toiled in the fields. Your ancestors worked and toiled in the fields, but you had no part of it. The sons and daughters taken away. You know, you'd long for them all the day long. Your eyes would fail for longing after them, and they're not to return. The slavery, the children would be born. They'd be to a certain age, and they'd be sold. Okay. You'd be oppressed and crushed. A nation of people that's oppressed and crushed. Not only that, but it just madness and blindness. You know, I mean not to be racist when I say this, but I found some of the craziest stuff you find in the African American population. Just pull up your pants. Quit looking ridiculous. There's so many things that is just that it's because of the sin of your ancestors that you do these things in what you do now. And I mean not to be racist. It's just the truth. Your carcass would be for the beasts of the field. You know, so many people that was slaves just murdered and cast out, and the animals, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air ate your flesh. You shall fear day and night. You know, the scripture said that, removed in all the kingdoms of the earth. If you look from the continent of Africa, where the Arabians called the best of my knowledge that I could find from this, and I'll try to get, this is the only thing that I'm still trying to get a solid factual statement from the Arabic people, but it said that the Yahudim were a people accursed of their Elohim, and when they were sold off as slaves, that's what they were said. That was what would be said. And that whenever slavery was taking place, that the African American people, so far referred to, but you are the true Yahudim or Israelites, were spread abroad to the United Kingdom, to America, to Australia, all abroad. Your people are spread all abroad, and will be regathered together again back into your land of Israel. It is very important that you understand who the true Hebrews are, because that end time prophecy, lots of it, surround these individuals. I am a Gentile. I know exactly who I am, but it seems to be the one group of people in the world that have been, by the rest of the world, tried to be dumbed down to the fact or completely erase their history from history, is the African American people, so-called, that are scattered throughout the nations. Now please understand that not every single black person is a true Hebrew, but it is those that are under the curse of Deuteronomy 28. And you'll be able to tell by the time that I'm done giving you this information in this video who the true Hebrews are, and you may be one of them. So let's begin. In the early pictures that you would see depicted in worship places, churches, and things of this nature, as you can see right here in this image right here, and others that I'll continue to put up, that Messiah was depicted as a black person, you know, an African American person. And this is totally different to what we see as Roman Catholicism was further introduced and spread abroad throughout the world. We always see a white Caucasian Messiah being depicted. And I want to reiterate throughout this that I'm not being racist. I love every single person in humanity. It's very important we know who the true Hebrews are. And anyway, as time progressed, though, these paintings and the depictions went from the black African American features to a more Caucasian white feature. And this wasn't done overnight. This was a slow sifting process as to what we have today. Now in every church house and on their walls we see a white Messiah. And this could not be further from the truth. Now I'll put links in the bottom of the video description where you can go see a lot of these abroad on the internet, and I encourage you to research Google, because there's so many remaining artifacts of this from centuries before.
No matter what you're presented with, you still want to dispute this and maintain your superior, pompous, arrogant attitudes. And it makes me sick. I come across these so-called biblically based websites, and listed for the 12 tribes of Israel are all European countries. What is wrong with you people? You should be ashamed of yourselves. After everything these people have been through at the hand of the white man, slaughtered, ran off their land, sold into bondage, had their heritage stolen from them, would it kill you? Would it kill you to acknowledge the fact that these could be God's chosen elect? Well, evidently so. And unfortunately, in the words of King Solomon, there's nothing new under.
Look now, you're seeing people who are most likely the descendants of those slaves who kept true. I like to bring up a few specific examples because they're going to be game changers. One of them wrote letters to Israel when it became a state. And they said, we're Israelites out in Africa. You know, everyone laughed at them and they said, African Israelites, these people are just trying to jump on the first world country bandwagon. They're living in a third world country, they got nothing. We're coming to Israel, we got innovation, technology. So they're trying to get on this train because there's such a thing called the right of return. All descendants of the Jewish people from around the world are able to move to Israel. So they said we are also. And everyone kind of laughed at them, like I said. And a few people took it serious and went out there and started studying them, learned about their culture. And a professor from Duke University went out there and did DNA testing on them. And he showed not only do they share Semitic genes from people who were in Yemen, back to the Middle East, these gentlemen, a large percent of them, have the Y chromosome to be Kohanim, to be priests. Now, if anyone who doesn't know, a priest is a specific family clan of the nation of Israel who come from Aaron, the brother of Moses, who was the first priest. And anyone descended from Aaron has the status title priest. And we found that these men in this village in South Africa called Lemba, L-E-M-B-A. Another area in Africa you have something big happening is in Nigeria. You have the Igbo people.
And the simple fact of the matter is that my people have lied to you and the whole world about the Bible and have sought to paint their images over your images and to replace you in the Bible, which is your history, heritage, and culture.
Now, based off what we saw, what exactly did them gentlemen say wrong? Because in a nutshell, even though they came across a little, only thing they were basically saying is, I can't be anti-Semitic because I am that. I'm not, I don't know about the whole Holocaust denial stuff, not up to speed with that. But as far as this situation, they're just saying that, hey, I can't be that because I am that. Now, if people want to disagree and say that they're not that, that's fine. I did something the other day where people can identify whatever they want to be. People can identify as whatever, you can be whatever you want to be. So why can't they identify with being Jewish? I remember Madonna. Remember when all the superstars, even though that was Kabbalah, but it's a form of Judaism. You know what I mean? When they were doing it, it wasn't a problem. How come when these two gentlemen do it, it's a problem? Or if anybody even references that people of color can be a part of these people, I say, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? And I understand that, certain people subscribe to tribalism and, but if you're white, they don't subscribe to you, If you're white, you're not white anyway. You're probably German, Italian. That's what you are. Russian, Khazarian, that's what you are. There's no such thing as white. So Jewish people don't identify with you. They call us goyim. So if you're not out in their thing, you're a goyim. So if you even try to do that, that's pointless. I'm ranting here, but I just don't understand what the big deal is. Why can't they identify with whatever they want to identify with? That's all. I probably won't have anything else to say about it. I really think it's a distraction. And honestly, I got better shit to do. To be worried about celebrity. Bye.
Yeah, baby. When fires from one side of this world to the other than you made.